Hello, I'm Neil Day, Assistant Manager of Woodford Town, big supporter of the podcast and Jake's work.
Well, good morning and welcome to the podcast. You're here with me, Jake, otherwise known as Foghorn from Harlow Town Fans TV. Hope you had a good weekend and enjoyed whatever game you went to. And of course, as always, this video is sponsored by Loserpool. I will leave the website in the description. So as always, we're going to start off with the scores and the content that's been sent in. This week it's been sent in by Chris from the Blue Army Ultras of Wingate and Finchley. It's Harrison from Epping FC, Johnny Drummond and the Billingham Town Gang, James Beardwell from Witham Town, and Dave Square has done a little bit of an Isthmian North roundup for the show as well. I'll catch up with you after that.
Sore throat today, but yesterday Wingate and Finchley played Lewis away at the Dripping Pan, and I thought we were going to be on top after receiving an early header goal as well as another goal in the second half, but after being 2-0 up we went 4-2 down. Our players just switched off. I thought we were going to get some points to help us stay up, but unfortunately not. We're back to Route 1. We're back to the beginning again. Now on Tuesday we've got Tonbridge at home and Brightlingsley at home on Saturday. If we can't beat these teams, then we know there's something wrong. But anyway, new management Dave Norman, definitely some positives for sure, and hopefully we can bounce back stronger next games. Come on Wingate, please subscribe to Foghorn. Thank you.
Welcome subscribers to the Fogcast. Here we are at Billingham Town, taking on Eschwinnon. We're currently unbeaten in the league. Up the town!
Come on! Your side!
This is Johnny coming from Billy Town. Hello all subscribers of the podcast in Harlow Town FC. Billingham Town have won again, dispatching Eschwinnon 4-0 with an outstanding second half. We've got some lovely lady visitors. 3-0. 3-0, but that'll do. Up the town! Come on!
This is James Beardwell, the Witham Town FC superfan, reporting for the podcast of Witham Town's match away to Grays Athletic.
Yes! Yeah!
The full-time score, Grays Athletic 0, Witham Town 1. Oh my God, I am so happy. What a win for Witham Town. Oh, I couldn't be much happier. I'm just so happy, man. What a win. And that made my weekend. And that also make up my weekend after it's been a difficult last week.
Harrison Cooley, I'm a Town fan, and this is my preview on yesterday's game against Catholic United. A really well fought victory and a really lucky one, I'm going to be honest. Catholic United gave everything that game from the first half to the second half. Even though they did go 4-1 down, they were still pushing, still fighting, even when the game looked finished. But first half we were just the better side. We played the ball around better, we did them on the counter attack, had a penalty in the first few minutes which really did help us, and it looked like it was just going to be a typical game for us against a bottom side like Catholic, 7-1 or 10-3, but second half we proper didn't expect such a fight from Catholic. Fair play to the manager, what he did to motivate his players in that second half, hats off to him, he really did an amazing job. Even though he was a linesman for the first half because some of their players were late. But I think we really did deserve it in the end. I think our defence was really sloppy. We let 4 easy goals which on another day we would have stopped. But I think it was the first time a bottom side like Catholic United had really given us a game, because usually when we lose it's to a top side like Buckersfield or Great Barrow. It was the first time a little side that has not got the quality as us has really given us a game. So yeah, fair play to Catholic United, and we move on, third in the league now against Dagenham Redbridge next week. I'm looking forward to it. Come on, Epping.
Well, welcome to the first Bostik North preview, and but for the podcast. Looking at the weekend's games, there were some fantastic games in the Bostik North. I suppose the first one to start off with was the game between AFC Sudbury and Tilbury. Tilbury there going into an early 3-1 lead. Lewis Smith getting a hat-trick there, including a penalty for Tilbury, in front of 230 down at Sudbury. But Sudbury came fighting back, as Mark Moore's teams normally do, to win the game by 4-3. Barking, well, they went down 3-1 at home to Canvey Island. Martin Tui there getting the third goal for Canvey Island in front of 84 there at Barking. Basildon, well, fantastic news for Basildon fans, finally getting a win, and I think that's the first win that they've had since September, but a great win for them. They win 2-1 against Brentwood Town, a side that one week surprised everybody and another week when you expect them to win a game, they don't. But a great win there for Basildon in front of 128. And then, of course, the big game at the weekend, the game that everybody was looking forward to seeing, Bowers and Pitsea against Coggeshall Town. Well, it went the way of course, Bowers and Pitsea. They won the game by 3-2. Callum Leahy getting 1, Lewis Manor getting a couple there for Bowers and Pitsea in front of 161 there at Bowers. Bury Town, well, they are still on the winning ways. They end up beating Felixstowe Walton, another side that I've said on numerous occasions on the Isthmian show and the Isthmian preview show that I personally feel should be a lot further up the Bostik North, but they're struggling at this present minute time, and they went down by 2-0 at Bury Town at the weekend in front of a fantastic crowd of 425 there at Bury. Well, Aveley, well, they went to Dereham. To play Dereham, the long trip all the way up to Dereham to play them. Andy Freeman getting in the opening goal for Aveley in 41 minutes in front of a crowd of 224. But Matthew Castillon gets the equaliser 18 minutes from time in a much improved side from when Aveley played them at the beginning of the season. And it, of course, finished as a 1-1 draw. Great Wakering against Romford, two sides at the wrong end of the table, both wanting to try and pull away from that relegation zone. Well, it finished on that game. Great Wakering 2, Romford 1. A goal there for Joshua Wiggins and Billy Johnson for Great Wakering, and Reece Hewitt scored the goal for Romford in front of 126 there. Last time I went to Great Wakering, well, for me, on a personal note, probably the best burgers you can get in the Bostik League. So if you get a chance to go to Great Wakering, go down there and see if I'm correct. On the preview show, well, I said on the preview show that I thought this might be a bit of a surprise. Mildenhall against Malden Tiptree. Well, I was proven massively wrong in that game, wasn't I? Malden Tiptree run away with the game, 5-1. Malden Tiptree win that game in front of 130 to keep the pressure on Bowers and Pitsea and Rob Small's side there, really keeping the pressure on them at the top of the table. Where did the surprise come? Well, the surprise came at Soamtown Rangers. Did anybody see Soamtown Rangers standing a chance of beating Heybridge Swiss? Well, Jason Collin, Carl Bates, they probably would have said to me straight away, we're going to win that game. But they didn't just win the game, they won it quite comfortably in the end. They beat Julian Dixie's Heybridge Swiss by 3-1. Sam Mulready and Callum Russell getting a couple there for Soham Town. What's coming up this week in the Bostik North? Oh, some humdingers coming up. Well, Aveley, they played their game that was postponed over Christmas. They play Grays, of course, at home, but away. They play Grays on Wednesday night, so that'll be a humdinger. And then going on to the weekend, probably the game that everybody will be looking at the weekend. We'll be looking at it, I'm assuming, on the preview show this weekend. Bowers and Pitsea come to Parkside to play Aveley. I know it sounds a bit silly, but is it a 6-pointer at the top of the table? Aveley win the 2 games that they've got in hand over Bowers and Pitsea. They're a point behind Bowers. If they win this game, they could be 2 points in front. Who knows? But it's going to be a humdinger of a game at the weekend between Aveley and Bowers and Pitsea. Before I go this week, let's just have a quick look and see who's at the top, who's at the bottom of the table. Bowers and Pitsea, they played 22 and they've got 50 points. Morden Tiptree, well, they've played 22 with 44. Heybridge have played 22 with 44. Aveley have only played 20 with 43. Coggeshall have played 22 with 39. And then a 5-point gap to the ever-improving Mark Morsley's AFC Sudbury. At the bottom, well, Dereham Town, they're struggling at the bottom. They played 22 with 15. Romford 22 with 18. Mildenhall 22 with 18. Then a gap to Soham after their win, 22 with 22. And then we've got Witham and Great Wakering and Felixstowe and Walton all on 25 points. It's going to be exciting going into these last few weeks of the season. Last few months of the season, should we say, in the Bostik North. Who's going to win the title? Who's going to get relegated? Will the 3 points that's been deducted from Dereham Town cost them in the end? Well, who knows? We'll be looking forward to keeping right up to date with everything that happens in the Bostik North. Hopefully, we'll be back next week with more of this so that you can, a little bit of a rundown of what's happened at the weekend in the Bostik North. But until then, I'm Dave Square. Don't forget, Isthmian Podcast. So the Isthmian Show every Monday 7 till 9. The Isthmian Preview Show every Friday 7 till 8. Why not come and join us and have a chat with us on the telephone as well? But until then.
So they were the scores and the content that was sent in. Thank you, as always, for the content that was supplied. For the people that have done it for a while. And of course, Dave Square, who's fairly new. Harlow Town fans, if you're watching this today on Monday, then watch Dave Square's Isthmian Show. We've actually got our goalkeeping coach, as we know as Harry. He will be on there, so go and give him some love and some support. Now, looking into the weekend, but just gone. On Friday night, I went to Woodford Town versus West Essex, which finished in a 2-2 draw. Unfortunately, my phone cut out halfway through recording. So I've decided not to put the highlights in here because I didn't get all the highlights, but it finished 2-2. Woodford actually on the better end of a late last minute goal rather than the receiving end, scoring in the dying moments after initially going 1-0 up in the first half. And on Saturday I was on my way to Corinthian Casuals. No, I wasn't. I'd have been going to the wrong ground, wouldn't I? I was on my way to Dorking Wanderers. But unfortunately, the gentleman that was going to give me a lift didn't see my message. So unfortunately, he was already on the M25. It was a complete accident. Obviously, something he didn't mean to. He just oversaw it. So in the end, I had a look at Orion, but they were away. So I decided to go to Epping. And Epping were at home against St Catholics. You'd have seen a little review from Harrison there. Met some good people there, and it was a good game of football, 5-4. A bit of a headache for Epping after being 4-1 up first half, but an enjoyable game of football. And something I saw there in terms of sin bins, we will discuss in a bit. Now, in terms of the news this week, or from last week rather, Glenn Little has parted company with Wingate and Finchley. Of course, initially he went in there with Nicky Shorey, but Nicky Shorey left after about 3 games, and now Glenn Little has 2. Billericay, as you will all know, have parted company with Dean Brennan, and they brought in ex-manager Harry Wheeler, which I'm very pleased pleased about. I don't think Harry should have ever have lost his job. And Jamie O'Hara has come in as assistant manager. So does that mean Tamplin's putting money in again? Or does that mean O'Hara's taking a heavily reduced pay cut? I don't know. That's not for, well, it is for us to speculate really, but I wouldn't know the answer. Dean Barker and Ben Andros' side winning at Garden City at the weekend. They also drew again 0-0 with Aylesbury United. Romford have hit 1,000 games altogether, competitive games anyway, despite never having their own stadium, which is a remarkable feat. And secondly, something that you may have seen or you may have not seen regarding Aylesbury FC. Now, Aylesbury FC have already come out and said, regardless of their league position this season, they will be getting relegated due to the size of their refereeing changing room, predominantly, and a little bit to do with the away changing room that's just under the regulation size. Now, Ollie Bayliss actually went down and did an experiment, so I've actually got some photos from that with me talking over what's what there. So that will be now. So these are some photos courtesy of Ollie Bayliss of the photos he took of Aylesbury FC's refereeing changing room and away changing room, which if you've looked at the news recently, you will see that Aylesbury will be relegated this season regardless of their league position due to the size and standards of these rooms. Obviously have a look and you work out yourself whether you think these are actually too small in practical sense rather than just in theory. And Ollie Bayliss, if you look on his Twitter, did say that he comfortably got dressed in there and there would be room for at least another 3 referees in there as well. And looking into the week ahead, on Friday night I'll be at Woodford Town versus Sporting Bengal, of course at Barrows Farm, Harlow's ground. And on Saturday, Harlow Town entertain Lewis FC, which is going to be another good game for the Hawks. I wasn't there, as I said, on Saturday, just gone, but we lost 5-3, which is quite annoying, because usually if you score 3 goals, it is enough to win you a game, but it was always going to be a hard place to go. And from the highlights I watched, we did play some good football. And then the last talking point really is sin bins. Now, as I said, I was at the Epping FC game and they've introduced sin bins. So you get a yellow card, and when you get a yellow card, you get put into the sin bin. It can't be in the last 10 minutes of a game, so you get a yellow straight up. And they're looking to bring this in to step 4 of the non-league spectrum. Now, it's from things I've read, it could be that any yellow card you get put into the sin bin, or it could literally be just for dissent to the referee and swearing at the ref. But how far will it go? Will there be a number of limitations? Will it be only 2 players from each team can be in the sin bin at one time? Because of course, remember, I'm pretty sure you can't go down to more than 7 players at one point, otherwise a game does get postponed, as far as I'm aware. So a lot of people have said that it could work, but the main consensus of the people that I've asked on Twitter and got to comment is that A, it's going to be too hard to manage because of timings. You could have 3 or 4 players in there at the same time, but they're at different periods. How's that going to work? Also, the general consensus, without me slandering refs too much, is they need to be improved on the general part of the game anyway, rather than just giving them something else to worry about. So that's interesting to talk about, but leave your comments in the comment section on Twitter or Facebook or wherever and obviously let me know about that. Secondly, if you want to join Loser Pool in the sponsorship of the podcast or the channel in general, please get in touch. I'm specifically looking for a local company to Harlow. Of course, as Harlow Town Fans TV, it'll be nice to get a local company on board, as well as my amazing sponsors, Loser Pool. If you want any merchandise, you know where to go. I'm not going to ram you down your throat. If you do want some, please go and get some. For those that know me personally, I did lose my part-time job during the week. And obviously being in college as well, it is proving ever so hard to actually find someone that's taking on evenings that works around what I do for you guys. And of course, around college, which is the qualification I need to get to do this properly on a bigger scale for you lot. But other than that, as always, thanks for everyone who's sent their content in. Thanks everyone who's watched today. Thanks for everyone who's got involved. Please like, share and subscribe. As of now, when I started recording this bit, last week's episode was on 214 views. Let this be the one that we get up to 300 views. Next week, it's going to be this week, but he couldn't get it done in time. Christian Scales, of course, former Leyton Orient player and Harlow Town player, will be sending in some footage of him and how he's getting on in Sweden at his new club. So I look forward to that. Other than that, have a good week. Enjoy the games you go to. Take care and see you later.